You know that feeling when you're trying to find the perfect word to describe someone, or maybe even yourself, and you just can't find it? Well, today we are going to fix that. We're diving into the amazing language of personality.
So let me ask you this, right off the bat. If you had to pick just 3 words, only 3, to capture who you are, what would they be? Go on, give it a thought.
It's tricky, isn't it? It sounds so simple, but finding just the right words can be really tough. But don't you worry, that is exactly why we're here. Together, we're going to build your very own personality toolkit.
Okay, so first things first. To even start describing personality, we kind of need to know, what is it anyway? What exactly makes you, you?
When you boil it all down, personality is really just that unique mix of how you think, how you feel, and how you act that makes you different from everyone else. And the words we use for these things, we call them character traits. These are the little building blocks for our toolkit.
All right, let's start filling up that toolkit, and we're going to begin on the bright side. We're going to look at some really powerful, positive words, the kinds of traits that people really admire.
First up, diligent. I want you to picture the most reliable person you know. They don't just work hard, right? They're also super careful, they do a complete job, and they always get it done on time. That is what it means to be diligent.
Yeah, at the end of the day, being diligent just means you're someone people can truly count on. You do the job, you do it right, and you do it on schedule. And that's a quality that's valuable pretty much everywhere you go.
Our next word is eloquent. Now this is for somebody who really has a way with words. They don't just talk, they speak in a way that's so clear and powerful, you just find yourself hanging on to everything they say. It's captivating.
Now here is a fantastic word, magnanimous. This is so much more than just being nice. It describes someone with a genuinely big, generous heart. They do things for other people, for the good of others, not because they want something back. It's all about selflessness. Okay, and now for a classic pair you've probably heard of, extroverted versus introverted. An extrovert is someone who gets their energy from being social and around lots of people. But an introvert, they recharge their batteries by being alone or with just a few close friends. And it's so important to remember, neither one is better. They're just different ways of moving through the world.
But you know, people are complicated. Personality isn't always so clear-cut, so positive or negative. To really get it, we need words for those more complex, nuanced traits, the ones that add all the interesting layers.
So, let's take the word naive. This is for someone who's maybe a little too trusting. They believe things really easily, and it's often just because they haven't seen enough of the world yet. You know, if I said it was going to rain frogs tomorrow, and you actually believed me, you might be just a little bit naive.
Then you've got reckless. This is all about acting first and thinking, well, maybe never. A reckless person doesn't stop to consider the danger or what might happen because of their actions. A classic example, driving a car without bothering to put on a seatbelt. That's just reckless.
And how about this one? Clumsy. I think we can all relate to this sometimes. A clumsy person is always dropping things or tripping or bumping into stuff. We even have this great informal phrase for it in English. You can say they have butterfingers, like their hands are all slippery. It's a fun one.
Okay, so we've packed our toolkit with all these new words. The big question is, so what? Why does this actually matter in the real world? Let's talk about putting this toolkit to use.
Honestly, having the right words is like having a superpower. It helps you understand other people on a much deeper level. It helps you communicate what you're thinking so much more clearly. And of course, it helps you describe yourself when it really counts. Let's just take a job interview. They ask about your strengths. Instead of saying, I'm a hard worker, you can say, I'm diligent. See how much more specific that is? And for a weakness, saying, sometimes I can be a bit too daring, is brilliant. It shows you're self-aware, but it also hints that you're someone who takes initiative. And that brings us right back to where we started. We've filled our toolkit, we've looked at all these different traits, and now that same question is back on the table for you.
So think about it one more time. With all these new words in your head, words like diligent, magnanimous, introverted, daring. How would you answer now? What are your 3 words?